The Master Circuit Series, one of the biggest, most prestigious weekly Master Duel tournaments happening right now. $1,000 each week is on the line for the best players to take. While playing meta was an option, here's how I took Crump's beloved archetype to the top tables and took names to secure the bag. This is the story of Penguin Sprite.
Is this it? Penguin Brave for game? Metaverse. That doesn't do anything. That Metaverse for Hidden City literally doesn't do anything, right?
It does nothing because they have no monster.
Yeah. And that's it.
Oh my.
Lazy. Penguin Sprite moves on to the top 4.
Oh my.
Holy based. Let's fucking go, dude. That is incredible.
Holy shit.
Hello, it's been a while since I've uploaded, but I wanted to talk about my adventure in the Master Circuit series, playing a deck on nobody's radar. First, let's talk about the fun stuff, the Penguin cards. The star of the show is Penguin Brave, the Penguin boss monster. This level 6 synchro, when summoned, summons any penguin from the deck in face down defense position, which will always be Penguin Soldier. Also, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can quick effect flip one of your face down monsters face up. This means that your opponent has to be super careful playing into Penguin Brave, since a bounce 2 from Penguin Soldier could be in their future. This unique removal eviscerates most stats, and is why I decided to play the Penguin engine. But how are we bringing out this posse of penguins? The first is through the Great Emperor Penguin, which can tribute itself to summon 2 penguins from the deck, which will be Glacial Beast Polar Penguin, a tuner, and No Penguin, a non-tuner. While the Emperor is a level 5 monster, there is a way to easily summon it out, which I'll get into later. The other way to summon Brave is through Squire. Attend to me. Squire can special summon itself when you set a monster. Then you have the option of decreasing Squire's level by 1 or 2. This makes it so that any level 2 plus Squire is Penguin Brave, even non-penguins. You can even reduce its level by 2, so you can sync with your level 3s if you have to. But what is the payoff to Brave? It's Penguin Soldier. It's a flip monster that came out in like the early 2000s that bounces 2 monsters back to the hand when it's flipped face up. What makes it super special is that it is also a level 2, which turns on the sprite half of the deck. Another notable penguin is No Penguin, which special summons itself from the graveyard if you activate a penguin effect, and also turns on your bounces into banishes. This means that by going through the Emperor Penguin line, you can set up a quick effect Banish 2 on your opponent's turn. Your opponent can say goodbye to their cards. The other level 3 is Glacial Beast Polar Penguin, which on special summon can bounce an opponent's monster back to the hand, and if it's destroyed, can bounce any card back to the hand. While the second effect doesn't come up often, the first effect helps you break boards going second, and since you're summoning Polar Penguin and No Penguin at the same time through the Emperor, you get to banish that monster instead. This is fine and dandy, but how come I'm only playing one of most of the penguins? Well, they're all searchable through their continuous spell, Royal Penguin's Garden. This spell adds a penguin card on activation, and once per turn, you can decrease the level of any penguin in your hand or on your field by 1 by discarding a card. This means that the Emperor line is accessible through Garden plus any discard, or you can search Squire, attend me, and summon Brave that way. Garden adds so much consistency to the deck and will bait out opponents' Ash Blossoms because of their fear and confusion. Also, if this card wasn't perfect enough, you can use the level decrease to turn a potential brick like Polar Penguin into the perfect level 2 for the sprite half of the deck. Trust me, this comes up. The ultimate goal of the Penguin engine is to provide sprites with unique forms of disruption that was not available to the deck before. While it does add a few Brits, Penguin Brave is a crazy payoff and helps supplement an already strong meta strategy. Now the sprite stuff, I'm sure we've all heard this stuff before, so I'll be brief. Blue searches monsters, Jet searches spells, Carrot negates spells and traps, Red negates monsters. Swap Frog and Ronin are free level 2s and synergize with Penguins since they're all water monsters. Dam Burst helps the deck go over the top in terms of attack, which I think is important in a best of 1 format where the opponent lacks information. This was less impactful in the top 16, so I often sided it out in games 2 and 3. Smashers is a non-targeting banish. Starter special summons a sprite from deck, keep in mind it 2-lots you. Gigantic summons a 2 from the deck, any 2, keep in mind. Gigantic summons a 2 from the deck, any 2, keep in mind it 2-lots both you and your opponent, so you cannot be Nibiru'd after resolving Gigantic. Also, its attack is doubled if you use a Link monster as material, which makes for swift ODKs or at least powering over most monsters. Elf summons any level 2 from the grave during the main phase, and if your opponent has a monster on their field, you can summon Link or Exceeds monsters as well. Yes, this includes your opponent's main phase as well. This helps you get resources or negates at almost any time or extend into infinity. This card should be banned or limited. Now for the Tets, of course we have Mat C, it's broken and should be banned. We have Ash because it's the Mat C counter. We have Triple Tat, which is the Mat C punish. Prosperity is for consistency and also helping find your going second tools. Called By is to counter Mat C and Ash. Imperm is a flexible monster negate going first or second, and sometimes you can negate a spell or trap depending on where you place. For the extra deck, we have Penguin Brave, which I already talked about. Gin Buster, who's a monster negate. Sky Cavalry, which is monster removal and a free Zeus. Cat Shark helps Gigantic go over the top at 6400 attack. Onibimaru helps clear the board. Double Gigantic. Downward and Zeus go hand in hand, turning any of your Exceeds that attack into a 4-mat Zeus. IP lets you flex into Unicorn or Goddess on your opponent's turn and gives you that monster immunity from card destruction effects, and synergizes super well because you can bring it back with Elf. And then we have Elf, who's just super broken. Unicorn spins an opponent's monster back to the deck at the cost of a discard and is often your bridge into access code, who cleans boards and ends games. And finally we have Goddess, who can be made using one of your opponent's monsters, turning your IP into quick effect removal. Also, blanket negates all monsters your opponent currently controls that are face up on your opponent's field. It's immune to effects that target and can negate effects that special summon a monster from the graveyard. This card is a house. For the side deck, we have Droll, which is good against decks that want to search a lot, like Sprite. Thunder King and Chaos Hunter can be tutored from the deck with Mannequin Cat. Thunder King prevents searching and can negate a special summon. Chaos Hunter prevents banishing, which is here specifically to counter Ishizu pile decks. Pancratops is one of the most underrated cards in the game, especially in a side deck format. I always bring this in if I expect to go second, and while I never drew at this tournament, I would never ever enter a Master Duel tournament with no less than 3 copies of this in my side deck. Huge body, quick effect destruction, it's just broken. Nibiru is to punish sloppy overextension, Harpies is for back row, Cosmic Cyclone for the same reasons but specifically to target runic variants. Crossout is for sprite mirrors since I know after siding this card will have a ton of viable targets. And that's the deck list. I had a ton of fun playing in this tournament. I usually just play Duel Links, but I caught early in the month, so I picked up a bit of Master Duel and here I am. This deck is surprisingly legit even though I initially entered with it because I thought it would just be a meme. Thank you to MBT, Rebby, Coder, and everyone else who makes these tournaments possible. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one.